little bit of a limp from a knee surgery recovery, so forgive, I'll probably sit for a bit. I'll take this fancy water that everybody has joked about and put it in my pocket. Probably wish I had done that. I've been a part of the Army for a long time. I came from Gonzaga University as a second lieutenant, and commissioned into the infantry, and went to the Army's Ranger School and the Airborne School, reported to the 101st Airborne Division in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, trained for several months, deployed to Vietnam with that unit. And this story takes place about 3 months after we had arrived in Vietnam. The story I'm going to talk to you about, not just the story, but the whole theory of what I'm talking about is taking care of soldiers. And I say soldiers, forgive me, I'm Army, but I refer to the airmen and the coasties and the sailors and the Marines and the airmen, of course. Soldiers means generically those who work for us. In the armed forces of the United States, there's a certain lethality to what we do, and it doesn't matter what the military we're in. I was an infantryman. The mission of the infantry, pretty blunt, pretty brutal, to close with and destroy the enemy by fire, maneuver, close combat, and counterattack. Doesn't get any more brutal than that. That hasn't changed both in the American Army and centuries before and all other armies. That's what the infantry does. So my perspective is a little bit from that, but really not much more. When we talk about taking care of soldiers, it permeates down the entire chain of command. In this room, we got warriors from leaders from all grades, from Colonel Samuelson all the way on down to various section leaders in the squadrons and in the sections that inhabit this base. And all of you are responsible, all of those leaders are responsible for the soldiers. When I say soldiers, remember it's generic, for the soldiers that are underneath you. Now what does that mean? What does taking care of soldiers mean? Well, it has a generic meaning of making sure their administration stuff is done. What does that mean? Well, are they getting paid? Are they getting their awards on time? Are they getting their paperwork for schooling? Getting their physical schedule? Doing all of the day-to-day things that all of us in the military have experienced. That hasn't changed, and it won't. It continues to be a little smoother with the aid of technology, but basically the same responsibilities are there. The section leaders, the people who usually know the most about their warriors, are the ones who pass those concerns up the line. Somebody in their section has not gotten the word about his physical. He knows it's coming up, and she knows it's coming up. What about that? They bump that up the chain of command, and we have an incredible, and that's the secret to America, a lot of secrets. Secret, as far as I'm concerned, is the NCO chain that exists throughout all of our services. That's where the work gets done. That's where the real taking care of soldiers occurs. That means that making sure that those things happen, gripes, concerns that they have, you're the first line of supervision is where it gets started to move, to get bumped up. Listen to the word of those people who work for you. You have a sacred trust imposed on you when you have these people assigned to you and put them in your care. And part of that is taking care of their needs. So when we move to a different environment, we go to the field. Whether we're in training, let's talk about training. Those concerns don't go away. Those same needs, those same issues that come up for scheduling of physicals, getting orders for this, they're still concerned about those, and they're out in training. Well, the concerns of making sure those things happen are still there. It's not like, forget 3 weeks until we're back from this training mission. Those needs need to get bumped up. People have a concern that they have a leave coming up, somebody's going to get married, they're doing this, doing that. Those concerns have to be passed up the line. Special medical decisions, trying to get to school, get a physical, doing all that stuff. You all know exactly what I'm talking about because you've all been there. I've been there. Okay? In the field, the focus changes a little more. You have a mission, whatever that is. You've heard the infantry mission. Whatever the mission of your organization is, your focus turns to that. And taking care of soldiers is making sure that they're prepared to execute what that mission is. I don't need to tell you that either. So how many inspections have you been under? How many times have you sat through briefings to make sure you knew things like radio frequencies and points on the map sheet, GPS coordinates, all that kind of stuff that you need to get your job done, whatever that job may be. But it's It's to make sure that you know and that you are armed and prepared with what you need to get your job done. Part of taking care of soldiers, a big part of it, is to make sure that they do and that they know those things. That might mean inspections. That might mean rehearsals. That might mean sit down and do one-on-ones. But every member of the team has to know what they're doing, and in the ultimate example, people die if they don't. The whole team can fail because one person doesn't have what they need to do the job. So it's imposed on everybody, the whole entire chain of command, to take care of soldiers. Colonel Samuelson can't possibly know everybody's particular schedules for taking physicals and when their next school date is and all those things. He obviously does get around and hear things like that, but we as a chain of command through the squadrons and on down to the sections to be able to pass that information up and down through the people responsible to take care of it. But the responsibility of identifying the problem falls on you, meaning the supervisors and the leaders. When you move to a combat environment, however, it becomes even more focused. The lethality of what you're trying to do, what you have to do in your mission, becomes apparent. So there's a little bit more of a motivation, if you will, about trying and getting people to make sure that they know what they are doing and they're prepared to go do it. And that does mean more inspections. It does mean more looking in pockets and looking in the infantry's case. We look at soldiers' ammo pouches. We look at their backpacks. You'd be surprised what you find in some of those ammo pouches. I won't go there, but just use your imagination. It better be ammunition, okay? But it can be radios. I mean, I'm not talking about the little plastic ones, but what you don't need that where you're going to do what you're going to go do. Is the ammunition in the right amount? Is it the right type? Do you have whatever it is that you have to wear that day to go? If you're carrying a radio, and radios, and flashlights, and GPS units, and night vision devices, they're all powered by batteries. Okay, do you have batteries? Well, do you have a backup battery for the main radio that you're relying upon to get back to your unit, meaning for support purposes? Those are the kinds of checks that leaders do. And most of that time, that's pushed down the chain of command to the lowest level of supervision. In the infantry, that's usually squad and section leaders. Okay? And they conduct those inspections in detail. Put soldiers in front of them, go through their equipment, make sure they've got it. If they're not doing that, I'm going to talk about what happens if you don't. A quick example, we were assigned to attack a particular village that we had discovered was full of North Vietnamese soldiers. We helicoptered in on a landing zone, got mortared big time on the way in. Just a distraction, that happens. And we unloaded and we stormed this particular village. And we got most of the way in there, and the last phase of that operation was artillery fire with tear gas in it. So we would kind of build this big white cloud of tear gas on these guys who were dug in their bunkers, waiting for us. So we charged, we got right up to the edge of the white smoke, grabbed our gas masks on, put them on, and charged into the white smoke. Got about 5 steps into it, and everybody was gasping and wheezing and had to back out. The whole plan changed immediately on the spot. Reason, those gas masks were thrown onto helicopters in duffel bags where they'd been in storage for 6 months. You don't need to use your imagination to know that in a tropical environment, what happens to filters and gas masks when they're thrown in and stuffed in duffel bags that they haven't been used. The bottom line is, ASSUME makes an ass out of you and me. Somewhere along the line, someone did not check the gas masks. Yet they threw them on a helicopter, and one of these warriors charging into this village to wear them as part of that plan. Needless to say, there was a plan B. It was a good plan. It was brutal, but that's for another day. The story I'm here to tell you about was another operation where the unit I was in, the rifle company, was charged with attacking a hill that the North Vietnamese had occupied on top with a large command post and observation post. They were causing havoc for us that were down in the valleys below. So we went up the hillside, 90 degrees outside, 90% humidity, and all the way up and down the mountain, there was no place to land helicopters. So we were dragging 50-pound water cans, ammunition, the heavier weapons, everything had to be transported, and we had to fight our way to the top of the mountain. As we fought our way up the hillside, it just became, people were just exhausted. It took us all day to even get near the top, and some really great infantry work was done at the top, and the bunkers were taken out, the rock bunkers. We had a little help, we had big help from the Air Force, and some artillery that we had. Moved up, took over the top of the hillside, put out a perimeter to defend ourselves for the counterattack that we knew was coming. And then the ultimate security piece was taken. We waited till right about dusk. Company commander says, I need a platoon to go out on the end of this long ridge line that came off this mountain. It was the only ridge. The rest of it all dropped off straight down the hill. To sit out on the end of that knob and be the protection from anybody coming up there to come and counterattack. In other words, stand in the way of anybody coming up. The lieutenant that was given that mission was trained just like I was. Airborne Ranger, did all that stuff, been in combat. He was my roommate in base camp. He walked out the wire. He got out about, probably 600 meters, just out of the line of sight, over the top of from the ridge where we couldn't see him. His people started whining and yelling and moaning at him. They stopped the formation and said, stop, we can't go there, we can't do this anymore, we are exhausted. And Freddie his name was just shocked at what they were saying. But he listened, and every the NCOs, everybody bought into this. He said, we got to stop here, let's do a rucksack flop. Wait a few minutes, tell the commander we're up where we're supposed to be, and just flop. I couldn't believe my ears when I heard about this. And what happened is this lieutenant said, okay, I'm caving, we're staying here, we'll do the rucksack flop. And that's exactly what they did. 600, maybe 800 meters, about halfway to where they were supposed to be. And what do you, no security setting out, no perimeter, no nothing. They just flopped down and went to sleep. Well, you can predict what happened. North Vietnamese came right up the ridgeline like they were supposed to. Point man walks right up on top of this American rifle platoon, sacked out on their backpacks. All of them sound asleep. So he says, stop, tells everybody. They attack and overwhelm this platoon, and in the space of 3 minutes, they killed 7 guys, 12 more wounded, and only about 3 people escaped without any injuries. And then the NVA withdrew. But just before that gunfight ended, and it was horrible, there were traces flying everywhere. We couldn't directly see it because they were just over the ridge from us. The firefight that was awesome, but it was very brief. And I heard the lieutenant on the phone calling the company commander, who was right here, right by me, begging for help, saying, we are in deep doo-doo here, and we need help now. And of course, the company commander didn't know where they were. They weren't out on the end of the knob where they were supposed to be. Bottom line is, before that conversation was over, I heard a burst of machine gun fire, and all was quiet. And that ended the lieutenant's life. The story is, after that, many times I've gone, and that was Lieutenant Holges' idea of taking care of soldiers at that one critical time, was to give them what they wanted, which is try to rest. I don't need to talk any more about that, but I will tell you that I've gone to the memorial in D.C., Vietnam Memorial. Go ahead and touch the faces, the names of my friends who are there. And I come to Freddie's name, put my hand on it, and I stand there for a minute, and I just ask one simple question. Why? Thank you.